Hello everyone, Professor Thompson here. I just wanted to take a few minutes here to provide some announcements and reminders. Today is October 28th and unit number 1 is due in its entirety on September 7th. So it is right around the corner, and I know with Labor Day weekend coming up, some of you may put away the schoolwork for a little bit and focus on family and some other things. So I wanted to take a few minutes, just keep some things in mind. The first is the deadline itself. September 7th, your speech for unit number 1 is due by 11:30 p.m. on that date. And then the unit in its entirety, which is the modules, the quizzes, the peer evaluations that you have to do. Make sure you're looking at that course schedule calendar piece where it really breaks apart Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, and there is 30 items that are included in Unit 1. Make sure you can check off every single one of those and make sure you have that done. The deadline for the presentation is by 11:30. That happens to be a function of what times I can choose when I'm asking for submission on the back end of that. So please remember that it's a little bit earlier than the actual entirety of the unit. I would highly, highly recommend do not wait until the last minute to try and upload your video. Again, if you're experiencing technical problems and issues, you need to have allowed yourself enough time to fix those. You need to have allowed yourself enough time to contact the COD help desk, to contact McGraw-Hill Help if you need help. Don't wait until 10 o'clock at night to upload a video and then it has some sort of processing error or some sort of condensing error, and you're emailing me frantically wondering what to do, and quite frankly, I'll say, I wish you would have thought about this sooner and taken my advice from the videos. So I would highly, highly suggest that you are planning in advance when you are going to be delivering these presentations, what audience you're going to be gathering for those presentations, and taking care of that several days ahead of time. Remember, you must meet the state of Illinois guidelines in your video submission. You must give your speech in a public place. It cannot be in your house. I don't care if it's a public park, an outdoor amphitheater, a library, a conference room, a boardroom, a movie theater, a school, a restaurant. It has to be in public. Okay? And it must be in front of 8 or more people. On one of the pages of the syllabus, I give you a checklist of like 15, 18 items to follow about how the video camera should be set up, which probably is your phone. But if you're recording, you got to show your audience. You need to show this. It should be recorded from this angle. Follow those directions. That is imperative. The final state requirement is that it is an unedited video. So you need to hit record on your phone or your video camera, record it in its entirety, and then submit it. I'm not saying that you can't record it 5, 6, 7 times. Now, remember, you have to have an audience. So if you're recording 5 or 6, 7 times, your audience is listening to all that. But again, I would recommend practicing, and then do one take in front of your audience. Hopefully everything goes really, really well, and you submit that first video. If you're presenting in front of family, friends, or you have extra time or the ability to record it a second time, again, I'm not saying that you can't do that, but again, when you do your final submission, it has to be one recording, beginning to end, in its original format. Okay? So the other thing that I just quickly would focus on here about the presentation from chapter 1 is that in this online class, it's really a lot about reading the material in the textbook and then applying that material in the textbook to your presentations. It shows me that you understand what's expected. And so for this first presentation, chapters 9, 10, 11, 12, those are the chapters that I'm looking at saying, did you pay attention to those? In chapter 10, when it talks about transitions, do you have transitions in your speech that are similar to what transitions were discussed about in chapter 10? Do you have attention-getting strategies? Did you summarize? Did you follow an organizational format, right? And these things are talked about in the chapters, and I will, evaluate those with those in mind. Sometimes I think students come in and for the first speech, their grade isn't what they expect, and I'm writing on the evaluation form, please consult chapter 10, please consult chapter 9, please consult chapter 10, because I feel like you read the requirements for the speech, but you did not pay attention to the material you were supposed to be applying for that presentation. So keep that in mind, okay? I noticed that as I'm looking at the gradebook, several of you are progressing very well. A lot of the initial assignments are done. Now it's a matter of really trekking through some of those chapters. Make sure that you are doing the modules, which is the flashcard piece, the practice part of each chapter. You get points for doing that. And then you have to take the quiz as well. My goal is that you read, you practice with the flashcards that are there, the practice that's available to you for each chapter, and then you assess yourself with the quiz, and you get points for doing all of that with each chapter assigned. So, if you have questions or concerns, please let me know. I will also say that there have been 1 or 2 students who've contacted me about audience issues. Again, I can't help you with your audience thing. It's your responsibility to gather your own audience of 8 or more people. I can tell you that in Blackboard on the left-hand side, there is a tab that's there that says send an email. And as a student in this class, you have the ability to send an email to all of your classmates. So if you are trying to gather together some of your classmates from the online class to meet to help build an audience, you can do that. You have the functionality in Blackboard to reach out to one another with that send email tab on the left side. So for instance, if I contact 4 people in the class and ask if they want to give their speech, and all 4 people bring 1 friend, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, a best friend, a cousin, well, then because we have now 5 total people from class and we each bring a friend, that's 10 people to watch some speeches, okay? Or if I just contacted 3 other people, so there was 4 students from class, and we each had 1 person, that's the 8, that's the minimum people. So to listen to 4 speeches would be, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes if you're efficient, if you plan it well, something to think about. Anyway, you have the ability, you have some information. I hope you're all having a great day. Best of luck to you. Please reach out if you have any more questions.